Hello, and thank you for joining the session on Extension Production Planning, Tame the Chaos, part of our Sign Up webinar series. Extension is part of the Sign Up software family. Sign Up has offices throughout North America. We've been in business for over 25 years. Our product portfolio includes Xflow for the office of the CFO and Extension for the office of the COO. And most recently, we added Dynamic Web to the Sign Up family. We now have over 200 employees with over 3,500 customers, and we have over 150 partners with installations in over 65 countries. The Extension ingredient promise, what we aim for with every one of our Extension products. First off, management by exception. Filter specific data so you can focus on what matters. Actionable insights. Real-time data allows all team members to be proactive and reduce uncertainty. And collaboration without boundaries. Since our solutions are embedded directly into D365, everyone has access to the information when they need it. This is our solution portfolio, and just like a puzzle, all these products work best when coupled together. Today, we will be focusing on production planning, and we encourage you to explore our other awesome products. All right, Extension Production Planning. It enhances standard dynamics functionality and allows your organization to get the most from your manufacturing equipment. Furthermore, you can proactively identify production issues early and have the ability to adjust all resources directly within Dynamics. Second, you can bring all related information into a consolidated view and easily maintain awareness of materials, capacity, and delivery, putting your planners in the command and control position. And saving time. We allow your organization to save time by giving all affected stakeholders the ability to make adjustments and have visibility into production changes and progress. Standard D365 F&O SCM is very good at providing you a way to manufacture your products. It does, however, fall short when it comes to providing proactive insights when challenges arise from things such as resource limitations and scheduling challenges. This can cause uncertainty and even chaos. We provide real-time insight into each of the areas listed here, something an external planning system is not able to do. Since Extension Production Planning is an embedded solution, it has the ability to take all of the data that Dynamics already has stored within it and helps your organization visualize that information and easily control it, helping your organization tame the chaos. How exactly does Extension Production Planning do this? Well, it provides you with the ability to first see a high-level activity plan to help predict production needs. Then dive into a detailed approach specific to your resources and capacity. We also provide the ability to do simulations in order to do what-if analysis. What if we move these production orders ahead? What if a machine has to be taken offline for maintenance? What if we need to adjust our calendar? Production planning also allows your organization to deal more effectively with daily curveballs, such as rush orders or unexpected machine downtime, or even seasonal production requirements. Also, we provide you the tools to analyze what resources are overloaded that may be creating bottlenecks. I would like to point out that we have many different manufacturing companies using our production planning software. From engineer to order, make to stock, configure to order, and process manufacturing. All right, let's dive in and see production planning in action. Here's my extension environment of D365. I'm going to go over here to the modules. I'm going to scroll down to the production control module, select that, and you can see right away with planning for production installed, we have a new menu items: planning for production, task planning, resource, simulation, capacity, and filter. For now, I'm going to go to all production orders, the standard form. Click on that. The standard production form will open, and right away you'll notice that we even add triangles to this form. Now, these colored triangles represent material availability. So orange here mean not yet available. Green means the item materials are available. Gray means the materials are consumed. And red means there's some sort of error or issue that needs to be addressed. If there's blue, blue means shipped. For this particular example, we're going to go into one production order, excuse me. And at the top of the menu bar, I have planning for production added when I install Axtension Production Planning. And I'm going to look at the task planning. It's going to load this particular production order in a visualization. I will zoom in on it. While it loaded this order, it also loaded the related subassembly order. So now I can hover over this production order and get a info box for the information, the project, the activity, the amount of time that's planned for it. If I highlight it, I can also see the related information over on the right-hand navigation side. I can see the item tracking with the items in it and the related production order for this particular subassembly item. That's awesome. All right. Now I can right-click on this production order. I can update it. If needed, I can release it, start it, report it as finished. I can also lock it for rescheduling, or I can look at the details of the production order. The explosion, let's just look at that. Standard form that we see, this is the explosion form from D365 of the production order. I can also look at the bill of materials, the route, production order itself. Let's go ahead and look at the bill of materials. Now we see here that we have this availability, and this one's marked as orange. Okay, orange means not yet available. So let's go back to our visual planning, our Gantt chart, and we see here that we do have this related production order. Again, hover over it, it gives me the information, and over here gives me the production order. So 1061 related to the production order we opened, 1060. And on June the 18th, before this main production order is built, this subassembly will be built as well. So we're good there. We have no real concerns. This particular production order looks good. And again, just giving you a feel for task planning with only one related production order. Let's dig a little deeper and let's look at some of the other functionality within production planning. From the module, I come back to production control module, to my planning for production menu header item, and I'm going to go to resource planning now. Remember, we had seen task planning at just that one production order. Now we are going to look at resources. So what I'll do is I'll highlight all these to show you how I move them across. For this example, I want to select the resources that begin with 1, click apply. Those are all the resources that I want to look at as the planner. I bring them over to the selected resources side. I then have the ability to look at what's my time fence, 1 month in the past, 2 months in the future. Now, I can save this view if I am a production planner and I always deal with these issues or regularly deal with these resources. I can save that view. There are some views already saved here as examples for other planning purposes. For now, I'm just going to select OK. And I will get another visualization, but this is based on my resources. So it builds all the resources selected within that, starting with one group of resources. These here, as you see in this column, are all of my resources. These could be people, these could be machines, they could be even floor space. However you choose to define your resources, they will be visible here. So again, I can look, I can hover over these particular orders, I can see the project it's related to, the activity, etc. If I highlight it, the same information and more is available over on the related information pane. Okay. And let's say I want to look at, I'm going to move this particular job. So I can move these jobs in time, real time, down. So now by moving this job away from the header of the resource down to a specific resource, I want to look at that based on this particular change here. I did create kind of a capacity problem. I have a capacity issue here. So again, red means we have a higher capacity issue. Any of these purples show that we are within capacity. So that move probably wasn't great. I could move it over to, let's say, this resource since they have availability. And I can look at the histogram now for both of these resources. And at least in this weak area, we have a good capacity as well. Over here, we have some capacity issues that need to be addressed. I could theoretically move this job out over to help alleviate some of that capacity. Still have some issues in this week. That's a few weeks away. I can address that. Now, I can also look at the capacity here of what I'm currently viewing, what I selected in this capacity overview chart, which we'll look at in a little more detail in just a minute. But again, red, anything over 110% capacity, pink, 100 to 110, 109. Green means bright green means right at 100% capacity, and light green shows me anything under 100% capacity. We'll look at the capacity overview again in a little bit more detail, just so you know that we can jump from the resource planning to the capacity, give it a look, and see what we're looking at in a different way just to confirm what our resources are. So I can close up these resources. I can then say, while I'm working here in my production planning, maybe one of my other planners comes to my office and says, hey, Dave, you can't put that lithium ion job for 111 during that week because this resource is not available. So I could say, all right, through the planning actions log, I could undo my last. So here are all the logs, all the times I changed it. I could say undo the last action, just like Microsoft Office, essentially you're undoing it and it moves it. It moves whatever I moved last, put it that way. Refresh. I could move it down here and then undo it. And it'll move it back up to that resource. Now, when I am making these changes, these are live changes that I'm making directly in the production system. They are committed directly in the system. They happen right away, and all of the dates and related information with these production orders is updated. So these are all live. One other thing I'd like to point out, we have green production orders. Those are your firmed production orders. And color-coded, we have red production orders, which are your planned production orders, not yet firmed. Okay, now I can also manage by exception and look at my filter. Since I selected a big time frame and a bunch of resources, I can filter those resources down by material status, category, the actual production orders. Maybe I only want to see a few of those production orders. Maybe there was a question about a production order and I need to look at it that way, or a grouping of them by group, the status, even the item number and the cost group. Okay, a great tool. Now, I also have the preferences option where I can change my time fence, turn off my item tracking, which is my material monitoring. And I can even change my master plan from the dynamic plan to the master or the static. I have all those abilities within my preferences. View options here, and they were the same in task planning, but we really didn't have too much to choose from there. So view options here, I can zoom in and get a better view for production orders if I want to focus on them. I can also zoom back out. All right, so that is resource planning. I'm now going to go to the next menu option within production control and look at my capacity overview. Now, my capacity overview is very similar, but in this case, my criteria is going to be 2 weeks in the past, 10 weeks in the future. I'm still going to select these resources beginning with 1. And likewise, I can save this view. If this is a common view that I need, I can click OK. And now we're going to see that capacity view chart, overview chart. Here, we do see we have some issues in week 24 with capacity. Scroll down, we're looking pretty good. I can also turn on or include the soft reservations, which are those planned orders. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to toggle between them so you can see kind of the difference. Planned orders come on and they give me an idea. If we were to firm those orders, what would our capacity look like based on where those planned orders currently are on our calendar? So again, something we can discuss. I can look at as a planner or discuss with my department or other planners in my organization if the organization is large enough. Okay. I have a different kind of zoom here where I can go all the way down to the hour level of the schedule and all the way up monthly, quarterly. I'm currently looking at it in week. I like that view. I have also the ability to change my preferences, my date range, as well as the plan, as we saw over on the resource side. Now, just to highlight the display level, I can look at this by group and resource, by group only, or by resource only. I can also filter these resources by all of them or just those that are overloaded. All right, so this is the capacity overview. Now, the next item I want to show you in planning for production from Axtension and sign up is the simulation planning. Here, unlike when we were committing the changes directly in the system with our resource planning, we have the ability to create a new simulation. I'm just going to call it May of 25 for this particular site 1 based on this date range and click OK. So it's going to take all those production orders for that date range. In this case, there were 16 of them, and build a view, list them out here. I do have the ability to remove production orders if I don't want to look at them, or add others if they didn't make it into my criteria. I'm going to open this up, and I will be built another visualization based on my selection for my resources. So this is very similar to what I was looking at when I was in resource planning. The colors blue is different, which you do have control over. You can control the colors by project or item or whatever you want. This is kind of the default coloring out of the box when installed. So these are blue. I can now move these around and say, well, what if I want to change this polishing job to the next week? And how does that look based on my production? Well, there are some other jobs affecting it. Maybe I want to move this one a little bit later. I know that I'm going to have some delays there. And again, look at some of the capacity I have. Well, let's move this one back. We really don't need that issue there. And then maybe move this one forward. And I can look at my histogram or not look at my histogram. And you saw some other items went with it. That is related orders. Just like we saw in the original task planning, related orders come along, they're attached to it, there's dependencies that exist with it. So yeah, then that means this starts. So let's move that there. We'll get a little bit of movement probably from those items at the bottom, move them around. Maybe we want to start this one a little earlier. Can't really start it on the weekend. No, there is a dependency there. So again, you get kind of the idea. I'm moving it back a little bit. Over here, I'll move it. This one comes along and I can move it around. I can then take my laptop to my production meeting, talk with my planners about this, if this is good, or review it with whoever is concerned, the rest of the shop. If this is good, then I really will just publish this particular plan simulation. I also have the ability to create a new simulation version. So I have one simulation, I moved a bunch of things around. Here's my May 25th Sim 2. I have the ability to either create it from the actual planning, which the first one was, or create it from this simulation and then show that, oh, well, it's that very first one. Click OK. So it took the existing simulation, and now I have two versions going on in my simulation. I can switch between them. I have the first one. I'm currently in the second one. I could make changes to this particular plan as well, move these around. I could even look at my capacity based on these changes, whether it's the histogram or over here. Really, again, not an issue till week 24. Okay. And that is simulation planning. If I like this, again, I can publish it. If I don't like these and I was just kind of looking at potential, I can discard these. So I'm going to discard this version. I'm left with the one version. I'm going to also discard that because I'm done with the simulation, and you get a real feel for how much control I have over forecasting what I might need to do in resources and not committing them fully as I was able to do in resource planning. So discard that, discard the entire simulation, and I'm left with blank. All right. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. So thanks very much for attending the Axtension Production Planning Tame the Chaos webinar. And we hope to see you again in another webinar real soon. Thank you.